Last episode, I nearly lost my dignity with the drill. The sound of the drill bit snapping still rings in my ears like mocking laughter. But in that failure, I heard the whisper: balance and respect. By slowing down and listening, I finished the task. That night, Harris warned us coldly. Tomorrow, the tool won't be in your box. It will be above the ceiling. A hidden cable. The first apprentice to touch it without testing might not come back down. I didn't sleep much. One word filled my head: survival. At dawn, we were taken to a half-finished storefront. The air smelled of wet paint, dust, and sweat. A single, portable light threw harsh shadows across dangling conduits. Harris's voice was iron. Today there are no rehearsals. Before you climb, check your PPE hard hat, safety glasses, work gloves, ear protection, fall protection harness. If you miss one, you don't go up. I touched the tool belt and my waist loaded with voltage tester, multimeter, insulated screwdriver, utility knife, tape measure, cable ties, marker. They felt less like tools and more like charms, small guardians against the chaos above. I was called first. My boot hit the rung of the extension ladder. Before climbing, I paused and gave myself a silent quiz. John, is it safe to climb carrying tools in your hands? The answer was drilled into me: no. 3-point contact. Tools in the tool belt only. I adjusted, freed my hands, and climbed. The ladder trembled beneath me like a living thing, testing my resolve. Above the ceiling, it was worse than I imagined. Dark, cramped, suffocating. Dust poured like snow. The fish tape weighed heavy in my gloves. I guided it forward slowly. Then my hand brushed a cable. Gray, dusty, lifeless. My pride whispered, "Grab it, finish fast." But another voice roared louder. "Test before touch." I pulled the voltage tester from my belt and pressed it against the copper. A red flash exploded. Live current. My chest went cold. One careless grab, and this would have been my obituary. "John, you okay?" Maria called from below. "I'm alive," shouted back, holding the tester like a holy relic. Luis muttered, "Lucky rookie," but I didn't care. The lesson was carved into my bones. Awareness saves lives. I kept working. Maria's portable light cut through the gloom. Luis grudgingly held the ladder steady. I pushed the fish tape gently, pulling, easing it through tight corners, avoiding jams. In my head, I repeated the wire-pulling checklist like a chant. Inspect conduit gives use lubricant. If needed, gives gentle push. Pull gives secure cable ties, gives check grounding. Step-by-step patience over pride. Finally, the tape emerged. I marked it with my marker, pulled in the conductors, and brought them into the junction box. I tested again with the multimeter: 120 volts, polarity correct. With insulated pliers, I stripped the wire, twisted on wire nuts, secured everything with cable ties. I checked the breaker, locked it out with a lockout tagout tag, and confirmed the grounding connection. Every move felt sacred, every precaution a ritual. Then came the foreman's voice, cutting through like lightning. Harris held up a test card. "Quiz, John. If a ground fault occurs, what protects the worker?" The answer was in my mouth before my brain. "The GFCI breaker will trip to protect from shock." He gave the slightest nod. That was all the approval I needed. By the time I climbed down, my gloves were soaked with sweat. My arms ached. But as I twisted the final screw, and Harris closed the panel cover, he called for power. The breaker snapped into place. The lights flickered, then glowed steadily. The entire site erupted in applause. For a moment, I was not a rookie, not a joke. I was the one who lit the dark. But the victory was written in blood. My palm blistered raw, split open from the conduit edges. My shoulder throbbed from strain. It hurt, but it felt like a badge, the first real scar of my trade. First blood. Harris stepped closer, his eyes cold, but steady. "John, today you didn't just complete a task, you survived a test. Tools are charms, but your true shield is awareness, control, patience, respect. Forget that, and no tool will save you." That night, I sat on my toolbox, watching the dust settle in the glow of work lamps. I replayed the whispers of each tool I had mastered so far. Wire stripper equals precision. Voltage tester equals awareness. Conduit bender equals control. Fish tape equals patience. Drill equals balance. And respect. Together they formed a secret language. A code only electricians could understand, etched now into my blood. I whispered to myself, being an electrician is not about wires. It's about survival. For the first time, I understood the full weight of safety first. But peace didn't last. Luis glared at me with venom. Next time, rookie, let's see if you survive. His words promised danger. Worse, Harris gathered us before we left. Tomorrow, you face a real job site. No rehearsals, no second chances. Real clients, real risks.